Hey guys, in this video, I want to share with you how to be productive as a solo entrepreneur. But first, let me ask you a question. Have you launched your business and probably faced this dilemma of how come you're not further along than you want to be? Have you ever sat down and started a project, but come to find out that you just got totally distracted down the rabbit hole of YouTube or any type of video? Rabbit hole. How about this? How about constantly sifting and sorting and looking for information online, but never really getting started on that work? So if that's you or a portion of you, guess what? We're going to dive deeper into that and how to get productive as a solopreneur in your business to get more done faster. All right, so here we go. Let's dive right in. I want to give a shout out first to thanks to Gamma for the software and the AI tools that we've been using to present to you these timeless pieces of information to help you build your business. All right, so number one, I've been teaching time management for a long time. I'm actually an author of a book called Time Management Tactics. You can still get it on Amazon. However, you can also just shoot me an email or contact my office and we will get you over a free copy of that, not a problem. However, we don't have it on our website anymore. That's just something we don't have. We kind of keep it for our elite entrepreneurs. So basically, I created this book called Time Management Tactics because years ago I was obsessed with time and I was really fixed. Like everything had an alarm and a notification, and I was just really obsessed with like where my time went and how much I would spend time on this or that. And even today, you can find on my phone, I use the focus feature on Apple. I use the focus feature that keeps track and it goes through all my devices from iPad to laptop, that it keeps track of the amount of time that's spent on each application or videos and whatnot. And then if you're beyond your allocated time, it will shut off and block that particular website or application or video source, whatever it may be. You can do that. It's called the focus feature. I highly recommend it. So I've always been obsessed with time because it's the one thing we can never get back. It's the one thing in life that once it goes, it's gone. And I always wanted to be a productive person. And I noticed that a lot of people who were wealthier than me, they were always like, yeah, I'll give you a minute. Okay, 2 minutes, book an appointment. I was like, book an appointment? Like, what's that about? Really important, actually. And when I got into management, now I started hiring and managing a bunch of people and actually helping business owners build their companies, realize that, time management is critical. It's critical to big organizations and as a solopreneur. So number one, you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize your tasks. What you're doing. Is this task going to get me the highest amount of result, the most back for my time? Because time is also an investment, right? So if you're investing your time in a product launch or a coaching program or a client, whatever it may be, you have to look at it this way. Like, is what I'm putting out bringing me something valuable in, right? And you want to be prioritizing what's taking up most of your time. Next is time blocking. Really critical, really important. I do this with my calendar, that everything I do from reading time to, hanging out or lunch time, or maybe meeting up with a friend for, a drink and just talking about, business or life in general, it has to be all allocated. Fitness as well, all those things, they have to be time blocked. It's really important. My good friend, Jason Wujo from Life and Air, it's a great book, by the way, you should check it out. It's called Life and Air. And it really broke this down for me many years ago. I was stuck with a challenge of time blocking, and he showed me an amazing thing. It's actually in our YouTube channel. We have a video of it. You can check it out. Really powerful stuff. Next is minimizing distractions. Okay. Have you ever heard of the open door policy? Yeah, it's probably the worst policy. What you don't want to do is you want to block off time, reduce distractions, shut off your notifications on your phone, or only leave it for certain people that can call you or contact you, and that your phone doesn't ding and ping all the time. And maybe for certain people you can do that for, but you can set that all up, and this helps reduce distractions. Now, another thing for those in management or as you're building a team, okay, this open door policy can be done in a different way, meaning they can come to you and talk to you about anything. However, you can't just do it anytime you want, right? You can't just have people just randomly walking in and walking out and just asking you questions. Man, I've seen this done in so many organizations, and it is not good at all. It's really difficult. So what you want to do is reduce as much of the distractions as possible. I tell people when I'm focused, this happens all the time. It really does. People will call me and they're not in my inner circle focus list, okay? They're not. And they'll just say, hey, every time I call you, my number just goes to voicemail, or I just get a busy signal, right? Oh, every time I call you, right, it's always busy, And that's because I'm not touching my phone. My phone can be sitting there for hours, but my phone never rings. I don't hear it. But when it's time to pick up my phone and go back and check who sent me a message or who missed calls, that's when I get back to them. So be mindful of that. Next, you should use another technique, which I've been using for many, many years. And it's basically where you are taking short breaks in between your workday. So for every hour, you should probably be taking about 10 to 15 minutes out to maybe get up, walk around, do a little bit of stretching, get some stretching going on, whatever you need to do there, go for a drink of water, but get up maybe out of your desk and just take 10 minutes to go aside and then come back and get back into it. And you should do this about every 10 to 15 minutes per hour. I'm serious. I know most people, when I first tell them that, they're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of time. That's like an hour a day. Yeah, if you try this, you will actually be more productive, even if you're pulling an hour. And I'm not talking about a lunch break or anything like that. No food breaks. I'm talking about extra time when you get up, you maybe go for a quick walk or do some stretching, go get some water. You'll be more productive in the remaining 45 to 50 minutes of your work time than you would if you just kind of plow through for another 2 to 3 hours. Does that make sense? So try that method out. It can help you. It helped me become much more productive than ever before. Then my all-time favorite is to-do lists. To-do lists. But most people, like in the image, have this on a piece of paper. You can do that too. You can have it on a piece of paper if you want to. However, I like to keep it all digital, and I like to use primarily 2 apps. And I'll share those with you now. Not exactly how I use them, but the 2 that I use. Number 1, I use Apple Notes. And I'm sorry, let me retract that. I use Apple Reminders, I use Apple Reminders for me and my assistant. We keep in communication on what's happening in Apple Reminders. Every time I add something to her list, it pings her phone. Anytime she adjusts or adds something to the list, it pings my phone, and I'll know, and we'll keep track that way. So that's something I do in regarding my prioritizing list that way. Another thing is I use Todoist. Todoist, I think it's how you pronounce it, which is basically a software that, it goes a little bit deeper into, managing tasks, where with certain softwares, you would know this, you can do more than you can with others. So although there is a free version, there's also a paid version that gives a little bit more flexibility, such as, imagine you could prioritize like tasks that are more important, right? The ones that are really important, those should be at the top of the list. That's the ones that drive the business, the ones that you need to be doing and focusing the most. The next thing you need to do is take your list and look at it and say, okay, what do I need to be doing? What are my most important tasks? What is the small ones that I don't need to be doing and I need to step aside and give those to somebody else and let that be done? Number 3 is you need to assign deadlines. That's really important. I like using software that not only sets me a daily reminder, but also lets me know, hey, this is a deadline that you need to get done, so you need to move forward. That creates urgency in your offers. So used to saying that in that line, but this creates urgency in your list of getting things done. Number 4 is you want to review this list maybe on the end of the week or on the beginning of the month and say, let's look back and see what happened and what did we do, what did we achieve. Again, it's that reflecting point and a review to see if you're on track or if you need to change anything. Okay, so I'm sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit. I talked about the apps in advance. So I told you, 1, you can use your calendar apps, really important, some to-do lists or apps that I just mentioned, and collaboration with project management. So like I just mentioned those, so I kind of jumped a little bit ahead. But it's important that your team also sees your calendar, they see your to-do list, whether you use a collaboration tool like I mentioned earlier. and you want to use some automation. And AI is really great for this, by the way. Now you can use certain AI that will actually do the tasks for you and repeat it on a regular basis. But I just want to make something clear as a word of advice. I've been having my own businesses for over 15 years. And the most important thing I found in all of this and getting things done is make sure your assistant is actually have access to your to-do list and your calendar. Really important. And by the way, your assistant should be the first person you hire into your business, whether they may be a certain like a PA or, they're doing certain things in your business, okay, specific things. But I highly recommend you get a PA first so you can delegate the other small tasks. And if you're not familiar with using AI yet for that, then probably you want to bring on a human to get some of that stuff done first, and then you can gradually get into AI, okay? All right, next, build rituals and like routines. Get a routine in your life so you're at the same place at the same time. You know exactly what's going on. And my calendar has a lot of repeat things, okay? So every morning, I know I'm up at 5 a.m. I know I'm dropping my kids off at school at about 6:30, okay? And then I know I'm at the cafe in my seat, either by the time the doors open, I'm like the first one there. And that's a very consistent thing. That consistency also helps reduce any stress in your mind, and it creates clarity because you know where you're going to be at a certain time, even to the point where other people know where you're going to be. And that's where I start my reading. So I start my day at a cafe and I start my reading. I've been doing that for years. Actually, when I was like 17, 18 years old is when I started reading. I think it was a little bit before that though. Well, let me take back that statement. I started reading obviously when I was younger, but self-disciplined reading about things like economics, marketing, sales, personal development, achievement. I started reading that actually at a little bit younger age. I think it was around 15, 16, but I really picked it up and started sitting at a cafe at the end of my first job. I was sitting there consistently reading at the same place at the same time, and that really helped. So you have that morning ritual. Some people like to use working out and listening to podcasts. Whatever it is for you, just make sure it's a routine. Next, use work blocks. So that scheduled time for deep work. No distraction work. Just set those blocks up. It can really be helpful. All right. And then again, like we mentioned earlier, take these regular breaks. Okay. Regular breaks. 10 to 15 minutes works out really well. Try it. If you're already doing it, let me know. If you haven't done it yet and you're going to try it, let me know in the comments so I can follow up. I'd be so curious to see how it impacts your life. And then also at the end of every day, what you want to do is have an evening wrap up, okay, or an evening review, and to say, okay, what did I achieve today? What has been done? So actually my assistant, I've been doing this for years, and currently one of my assistants that's here with me locally, she sends me a summary of all the things that have been done that day and what needs to be done tomorrow. So it's the evening wrap up and the first things that are going to be achieved the next day. That's really important. And don't get me wrong, sometimes people miss out on it, or your staff, something happens, but you want that evening roundup. And then at the end, me personally, what I do, not only just my assistant, is I review my notes, I review my to-dos and say, okay, this was done today. What's going to be done tomorrow? What's top priority? So those are the things that you can do and reflect on. All right. So here's some things that you need to do to avoid isolation. Okay. Isolation. And this is a really important thing, especially if you're a solopreneur and you're doing this business by yourself. Maybe you don't have a little support group, but again, this is really important. Number one, take regular breaks and step away from your work. It's the recharge. Okay, we mentioned that. It's really important. Next, number two is connect with other entrepreneurs, not just online. Okay, this is local. And I know you might be thinking, well, I'm building a virtual business. I'm online. There's no famous speakers around me. But listen, there are local groups that you can be a part of with local entrepreneurs. It could be a BNI group. It could be a Rotary group. Whatever it may be, just get around other people who are doing things that are entrepreneurial, or they're in the same industry. Maybe that you can even find like local meetup groups for authors, speakers, trainers, and just get around them. For example, Toastmasters is a great, really, I was a member twice of Toastmasters, really great for speakers. Now, they may not be entrepreneurial, they may be there just to speak and get better on their speaking, but at least it fosters that growth in you to get out there and get around other people. Number three, engage in activities that help you stress, okay? So activities, this could be exercise, longer walks, getting in over 10,000 steps like I'm supposed to be doing. Shout out to Gary. But yeah, so this could be things that it could be playing football, it could be basketball, some kind of sport, whatever it may be. Swimming, one of my favorites. So do that. This again, number 4, prioritize physical activity and healthy eating habits. I could do a whole segment, like a whole series on what I've done with the carnivore diet. I absolutely love it. And I could do a whole series on that. It's so powerful. It's changed my life. I never thought food would be this interesting to me in my life and self-care, but definitely do it and pay attention to it. All right, next we have here setting boundaries. This is really important. Setting up your boundaries. We talked a little bit about this before with notification and who has access to you. But number 1, establish your work hours. What are they going to be? When are you actually doing your work? Set that up. Throw it in your calendar. Number 2, the dedicated workspace. It could be a home office. That's fine. Or you have another office. Now, personally, me, I've never done well with home offices. There's just too many questions. There's just too much activity and a lot of distractions. And I do like office camaraderie, by the way. I've been a member of Regis office spaces over the years, and I also like to have my own private space. So I found something conducive to me that works for my lifestyle. And that's what you want to do. You want to create a dedicated workspace where it's really just you and your work, and that's it. Next, limit work-related communications. This is really important, by the way. Not only in the digital side, like text messages and chats or email, but how about people coming in and out of your office if you're working with a team of people, or those online distractions, right? So just be mindful of that. Set some boundaries, all right? Lock your office door if you have to, or set some digital boundaries around you. There's some great software. Apple has great software called the Focus feature. You can dive deeper into that, or there's other softwares online that help you time block and block out those things, distractions for you. Next, schedule time for personal activities such as hobbies and social time, or just chatting on personal commitments. Set time aside for that. Make sure it's, at a certain time and day. Me personally, with me and my kids, it's the weekends. It's Saturdays and Sundays. Sometimes I'm trying to push for Friday afternoon. Sometimes I get it in there. But, basically Saturday and Sunday, everybody knows around me. You're not getting Nathan on a Saturday and Sunday. It's very rare. He's with his kids. You could call me, text me, whatever you want to do. You can drive by my home. I'm not going to answer you. I'm with my kids. So that is just setting up, those personal activities. That's really important. And lastly, this is a really funny thing. Do not pay any attention to the words on this board, because this is the power of AI. Look where it says action steps and how Citrini Dwarm times to goal steppings, cack your computers and breast of commerce, auction yours, but for cringe the good lard. Yard. AI, we're still in development here, but it's all good. You get the point. So most importantly, key takeaways right here. Prioritize your tasks, be stringent, respect your time. You know what? If you don't respect your time, no one else is going to respect your time. So be mindful of that. Respect your own time first. Establish a routine, practice your self-care, and then most importantly, leverage technology. Tech today is such a favor, not only with simple things like simple apps or features in our phones already, but even AI. AI tasks can be done for you, automated robots and agents getting things done so much better and faster. So be mindful of that. If you need help or you have a question about this topic, throw it in the comments and I'll see if I can get back to you right with some solutions. All right, hopefully you found this helpful. If you have, give this video a like and I'll see you in the next one.